Hello, Praveen.
Hello, Poonam.
How are you
How are
doing?
you doing? Fine.
I'm doing well too. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Congratulations on getting admit offers from two schools, ISB and IE. It's a
Thank
great
you.
achievement. So,
Thank you.
ISB was your dream school. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels good. As such, it feels good. And yeah, it's like a struggle of many years that have finally bore the fruit of it.
Mhm.
Finally achieving something that was almost like at some point of time, I just left the hope and finally
Mhm.
I'm back on track. So it feels very good.
Of course. So, you have a unique profile. Can you tell something about yourself to our readers? Where are you
Yeah,
from? Where did you do your
yeah.
undergrad? What do you do
Actually,
now?
I hail from a very rural background in one of the backward districts in India, particularly Srikakulam district, and have no formal schooling as such, and had no formal schooling as such. I was home tutored, and I appeared in my class 10 through a Jilla Parishad High School, that is government school, government secondary school, and later I studied in the same town in class 11 and class 12, and after that I means like the I completed my 10th a bit early, means like I completed more than before the prescribed age, so I had to wait some time to write the MSET. So
Mhm.
there was a gap there. After that I prepared, I took help from some coaching center in nearby city, and I cracked the entrance examination, that is MSET usually, that is called in our state, for medical entrance, and I got into a medical college on merit. And post that, I did my medicine, and after that, I worked for some time in various domains of healthcare. I worked at various places and even started my own setup in my district to serve my people. Later on, I did my post graduation in psychiatry. I got it to a merit seat. And again, after that, I joined Central Health Services, which was conducted by Union Public Service Commission.
Mhm.
I cracked that one during my second year of my post graduation and got into the job soon after my post graduation. Yeah, it was a stepping stone for me because initially I was very reluctant to join the job because it doesn't suit my profile, but I made sure that my persistence paid there. And I was like insistent with my superiors to start an OP. I was
Mhm.
insistent to do many things in there. And yeah, things have worked for me at that point of time also. So overall, it's a very pleasant journey. And yeah, unique profile, definitely.
Yes, you have a unique
Yeah.
profile. So you were doing well. You are doing well with your career as a medical officer and a consultant psychiatrist. In addition to your job, you are heavily involved with many voluntary organizations as well. So where does MBA fit in? Why?
Yeah, yeah. Further to answer, I need to tell few things. One is MBA was my career aspiration soon after my MBBS, because my brother has completed his post MBA from IIM Kolkata, which is one of the prestigious institutes. So it was a trigger for me. And apart from that, at that point of time, soon after my MBBS, I don't have a good resume as such, and good means like I didn't attend good schools. I didn't have a, it's like my resume was not my bit of course. So I thought of giving myself some time to build some resume, and that was lingering in my mind. And soon after I joined the job in Central Health Services, it's a partly administrative job. I need to manage the dispensaries, I need to manage workers, I need to manage the drug supplies and everything. And at that point of time, we were also given a 6-week training program, a complete residential training program. That triggered my managerial affinity as such, because like it means like provoked things. And yeah, after that, working in NGOs and managing them, and even working as a consultant to one of the defunct hospitals, everything made me think that I need a formal education and a proper education to dive into things. And I was like more inclined to the managerial aspect. Means like I want to move to the administrative aspect of the business as such. So I want to explore further in the field of management, because healthcare is a very huge industry. So I want to work across various domains and I want to explore things. For that, I need a good management education. And in this way, MBA helps me.
Right. To advance in your career.
Yeah.
Your story is really inspiring. Without any
Thank
formal
you.
school education, you went on to do medical and then post-graduation in medical. So that's really an inspiring story.
Thank you.
And now B School, and that too a reputed B School. So what are your career goals?
I mean, like my first means like my primary goal was like, after joining the ISP, you need to have a A, B, C sort of goals. My primary goal was to join as a consultant, means like work in the healthcare consultancy, because like healthcare vertical is one of the upcoming verticals in consulting services. And so I want to work in the healthcare consultancy vertical. That was my short-term goal, and I want to advance my career in that. And because working in consultants field as such gives me exposures to various domains of healthcare, and I can learn many things.
Right.
It's like exposure will be very good. So that is my primary goal. And yeah, further on, I want to start up my own setup at some point of time.
Right. So, Praveen, since you said you did not have a formal schooling and you are from an unconventional background, like medical field, and MBA required you to take GMAT. So GMAT must have been pretty challenging for you because it requires skills. So can you tell us something about your GMAT prep? I know it was a huge challenge.
See, there are two tasks here for me. One is because I'm from a medical background, and even in intermediate we don't study maths. Our math education stops at the age of 10.
I know.
And GMAT requires at least secondary school education and +2 math. And yeah, as I don't have any formal schooling and I was home tutored, my basics in English were also bit on the rougher edge. So it's like starting everything from the scratch, because like even gave my first attempt way back in 2018. Then I could hardly score 560. That was after a preparation of 2 to 3 months. I was like, I didn't understand anything, because like I'm not understanding where I'm going wrong. The only score skill that I possess is the critical reasoning and reading comprehension are good, because that's what we do in medicine.
Right.
That is fine with me, because like you need to go through the enormous amount of books and just comprehend them and spit it out. That's what we do in medicine. So it is fine with me. But coming back to the sentence correction, it's like, I don't know, because like frankly, that lack of schooling has shown up there for me. That shown myself in the mirror saying that you are lacking in this aspect and you need to improve on that. If you don't, you're going to stuck at this point of time. At that point, I took a course from GMAT. Initially, I joined a classroom session, but they started teaching for people who are already well versed with everything. So everything went over my head, frankly speaking. And then I joined GMAT as such. And yeah, definitely I have to say that GMAT helped me very much in building my basics.
Yeah.
And again, I took my second attempt in March of 2020. I took almost 2 years gap. Means like I was busy with many things at that point of time and means like I couldn't take. And March I scored 650, but I was stuck there for another 1 or 2 attempts. And like again, I tried something else. I tried GMAT quiz. And that 40-point improvement came 690 is my final score. And I was like, okay, I'm because like at that point of time I was nearing all the deadlines almost. The second round is also very near to me, so I can't take any more attempts. And I exhausted my attempts at that point of time.
I know. So, you contacted me in April, and we were supposed to start application prep in August, but we could not do that because of
we
could start
that is my bad, because like
early October.
The thing is that there are few mistakes I have done in my GMAT prep.
Yeah,
I should have devoted some amount of time clearly for that. That didn't happen. That was never materialized as such. I was thinking of means like leaving the job and looking after the family and going through every motion of the. It's a difficult task for me at that point. I don't want to tell excuses, but still that was a difficult task. So I was like managing things with 5 days holidays, 6 days holidays before the exam, but it never worked for me. It was like, it's a very hard task. If somebody asks me advice, I'll ask them to put aside at least 3 months of complete dedication to GMAT before doing anything, unless they were like complete whizzes with a good quant and verbal background.
Yeah. So based on your experience, can you offer some advice on the mistakes that prospective applicants should not make?
See, I learned from experience. Like I learned from my failures. There are few skills that I succeeded in, and there are quite a few schools that I failed in. Those are particularly due to my upward, because the admission committee members clearly told me that you are late. You are very late to the party, and the Indian pool is closed. We're just calling you because you have an unique background, and we just want to talk with you. If somebody drops out, we'll definitely consider you, but still, you are late. If you have done this thing in the round 1, yeah, we'll pick you up, no issues. But you are late to the party. You are late to the party.
I know.
Yeah, I was late to the party. So I strongly advise you should keep some time. It's like everybody will advise the same thing, but my failure taught me that you should plan beforehand. And the most important thing is just get the GMAT out of the way.
Right.
Even if you get some score, and if you are confident that you'll crack through with that score, take that risk rather than taking that risk in later rounds. Yeah. That I'll definitely advise. And yeah, for GMAT, you need to give some time, because don't take the exam lightly. The exam looks pretty simple on the surface, but it is not. It will throw you some bouncers all the way. So it's not that simple exam. And the means like as you come to that 650 to 680, 680 to 700, the difficulty level increases drastically. So you need to definitely concentrate on that.
You kept on delaying your application for GMAT prep, and when you retook it, you said, I'm going to retake it 20 days before the deadline. I was like, I discouraged you.
Yeah, at that point of time, like I was doing multiple tasks at the same time. I was like going through the applications, going through the GMAT prep. I was sick, I think, at that moment of time.
You got dengue?
And I was working.
Yeah,
I got dengue.
I remember.
Yeah, I got dengue, and I was working at the same point of time without any leave. So it's like I was jumbling on multiple things. So better avoid those sort of jumblings, because not every time the results won't come in your favor. Sometimes they may not.
But despite all odds, you did it.
Yeah.
You accomplished 2 schools, and you were waitlisted also.
Warwick and ESADE has waitlisted me.
Yeah, so that's an
maybe probably.
But I mean, you were doing too many things.
Yeah, I should have done the ESADE admission committee member clearly told that We like your profile. There is no problem with your profile. And we do definitely want you on this class. But the quota for Indians is over and almost the class is full. So I can't do much right now.
Right. So let's talk about the application prep now. Can you share your application strategy, planning, and preparation?
Actually, my applications strategy and planning started with the stories, rough drafts. Means like I think we had a couple of more than a few stories in our box, and later on that we were trying to refine stories which fits into the questions profile, and then we tried to fine tune it. I think we had some 4 versions of each essay, and that is the same what is thing with the resume also. Almost 4 versions of resume were done, and iterations of resume were done. And yeah, letters of recommendations are very important. Letters of recommendation, because like I choose my letters of recommendation. One is my direct manager, and one is a place where I work as where I am associated with the NGO. So that place I chose because that is the extracurricular. This is my professional work. So both can means like I thought that both can evaluate me, both can show my leadership skills, show my work skills, and everything. Means projected different perspectives of me. And I what do you call? I requested my recommender to, means like after his initial draft, just to give me some time to just adjust it grammatically and in a flow. And he was kind enough to permit me do that. And with your help, things went in a smooth fashion.
Right. So apart from GMAT Prep, what was the most challenging part of the application process for you? Managing things?
See, introspection means like, see, you, when you think backward, you'll have many stories right from your childhood to, because like few of the things I ignored, like my background from means like my schooling. I thought it will be any hindrance, but you gave me a suggestion that it will be a plus point for me. And even my learning disability as such, because like I failed to mention that I had a learning disability at some point of time during the start of my career. During my, means like first 4-5 years, I had that. First 8 years, I had that. So it was very difficult for me to learn things. So I was a bit behind the schedule, but covered it up in the later point of time. It's like went ahead of the schedule as such. So I, like you said, that it won't be a bragging point for you. It would be something that will show your perseverance, your character.
Of course.
And as such, there was like one area where like in 2012, I think I left a course because of my family issues. And I never mentioned that in my flow of things. Then I think you suggested that you need not shy away from saying things, and that will help you in prioritizing things.
Yeah, education gap needs to be explained. That's why I
education needs education, and those things are explained in a proper fashion in my essays. Yes. I never shied. It means like, see, you never know which part of you. Sometimes you need some advice in deciding which part of your career is shining good and which part of your career needs some polish. So just weigh the facts, because there are many things that happens in our life that we often miss. And for that too, means like we need to introspect, you need time to come up with so many stories, because like you can't settle with 2 or 3 stories and tend to explain in all the applications. It's not possible, because every question is different and you can't project the same thing in every application.
Exactly.
So you need to have at least, on a safer bet, at least 8 to 10 stories that we can fine tune at a later point of time. Because fine tuning is an easiest part. Writing the first draft is the most difficult part.
Brainstorming story is the
deciding on which story to finalize, or which story that needs to go to the, it's like drafting table, is a very difficult task. Rather than, it's like after that things will fall in a pace. Just you will cut down the words, you will cut down the number of words, you will streamline everything.
Exactly.
But the first draft will be the most difficult draft. It will take at least on a minimum of 20 days. If you had already thought about your career, but if you started thinking about your career, it will take at least more than a month to think whatever happened in your life.
And we should leave no loose ends. Like we explained your education gap, you had to give up your studies to take care of your sick father because there was no one to take care of your father. And your mother could not handle everything. She needed your support. So you gave that up. So that education gap needed to be explained. Your employment gap, that needed to be explained. Learning disability needed to be explained, which is not a common thing. A person with a learning disability rose to do an MD, a master's in medicine, and then became a professional speaker, and then went on to...
Actually, I have difficulty in speaking also. It's like I was very afraid. I was afraid of public speaking.
And you became a professional speaker. You're a professional speaker as well. So your story is inspiring in every way. You are an inspiration to people.
Thank you.
That no one should be bogged down by handicaps in life. If you have a will, if you persevere, you can achieve anything. And your story is an example of that.
Thank you.
All right. So you received admit offers from 2 MBA programs, ISB and IE, as we have just discussed, but you decided to join ISB. Could you please tell us how ISB is the best school for you? ISB is an Indian school, IE is a European school. People prefer to go to Europe. So how is ISB the best school for you?
There are few things that were in my mind. Like there are both personal factors and as such college factors also. Coming to the personal factors, I have a small kid now, so close to home. I want to work in India at some point of time. I want my career in India. So ISB is the best fit, because if you go to an European school, coming back to India would be rather difficult. Yeah, that was in my mind. That is the reason I have applied to European schools. But still, coming back to India would be difficult. Yeah, maybe after 3-4 years, it would be easy for me to come back. But still, there will be a 4 years gap. But ISB is my best bet. And apart from that, curriculum-wise, yeah, both IE and ISB are very vibrant communities and have a different profiles as such. And even measuring on the return of investment as such, ISB is on the higher side, because it costs less and it is going to offer you better value for your money. So these are the factors that made me choose ISB.
I understand. So one of the most common concerns that prospective applicants have shared with me during the past 10 years I have been in this job as a MBA admissions coach is applicants' age. Often people ask me, Poonam, I am 29 years old, I'll be 30 next year. Do you think I'm too late for MBA admissions? And I have to explain it to them that it's not the end of the road if you turn 30. So you are 35 now. You applied for an MBA program when you were 34. So who will be the better person to shed light on this, to throw some light on it, that 35 is not very old for MBA programs. So
See,
what do you
one thing I always believe is it's better to do something rather than doing nothing. I shouldn't feel the regret for the rest of my life thinking that I should have done this at some point of time in my career. I should have taken this decision, or this chance I would have missed. It's like I shouldn't feel that regret. And I don't think that age itself is a criteria for anybody to judge somebody, because like there are many successful people out there who have just made us ignore their ages. You can't even see their age, because you can see just their personality, you can see their capabilities and everything. You can't just see their age. That is means like everything depends on how you present yourself and what is your aspirations. And brain doesn't know about the age, only body knows about the age. Brain doesn't know about the age. And
very
as long as you are running and as long as you are fighting, you are still in your 20s. But if you are still in your 20s and if you give up the fight, you are still in your 50s. There is no point. So as long as you're fighting, I'm still in my 20s to teenage. I don't because I was still the same person when I did my MSET, and I am still the same person again.
See,
Yeah,
the teacher
I
is
was.
saying this. Brain doesn't know age.
Brain doesn't know age.
I would
You
remember that.
have to teach it. You have
Brain
to
doesn't
teach.
know
Yeah,
age.
you are this much old. You should teach it. Otherwise, it doesn't count the days. It doesn't count anything. For it, every day is the same. And for it, how much challenge you are posing is the important thing, rather than what you are doing, or means like if you do something monotonous and if you are not challenging your brain, obviously your brain is going to go downward
Very
spiral,
true.
just like another muscle.
Very true.
So it's all about the once brain forgets the age, your body also tries to forget that.
I really love this statement, that when you don't tell your brain, when your brain forgets the age, your body also forgets it. Wonderful.
Forgets it.
Wonderful. So people can apply for MBA even when they cross 30. That's what your message is for them.
Yeah.
Great. So as a medical officer and psychiatrist, you come from an unconventional background. We have talked about it so many times. So can you share with our viewers, how did you portray your leadership skills? Often people wonder, they are from a medical background and they are in administrative job. So how to portray leadership skills? So I would want you to share your insights on how we portrayed your leadership skills in essays.
For me, leadership is when you rise to the crisis and help people move on. Rather than saying that, even if you say that you have led a people of 30 disgruntled people, there is no point, you're a good leader. But when the situation demands, you can regroup people and make them work at some point, make them work to rise to the occasion. That is the absolute essence of a leadership.
True.
I have done it on multiple occasions, be it during the COVID time, my experiences during the various crisis management things, because like, I worked in emergency care setups, I worked in rehabilitations, I worked in various NGOs as such, where I need to take charge without that, because like people doesn't means like expect something from you when they start looking at you, and when you are delivering, you should deliver. You should not lower your guard or something, and try to lead them. And leadership is also a learning experience. You learn as a leader. As I'm growing as a father, so is the case with the leadership. You'll grow as a leader. It's not a thing that just pops out and you'll become a leader or something. You just grow. When you just start rising to the occasion, obviously the inner things kicks off, and you'll start growing as a leader. And that's what I portrayed in my leadership skill essays, because I showed me the occasions where I worked in my hospitals to help people, and where I manage my teams effectively when the resources are inadequate. Also, I made sure that things are in a proper fashion, and made sure my resources are not drained out.
Right.
Because in many cases, in many cases of healthcare setups, things get, or even your resources get just fed up or burnt out. So I made sure that doesn't happen. I made sure that the adequate resources are allocated, and I made sure that I was there all the time.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, every day is a new lesson for you, and you learn as a leader. It's like, just that is a one fancy word, but it's like grouping people and moving ahead with people.
Is
So
what is called leadership.
that's how, yeah, that's how we project things. Because like I work with a different hospital. At that point, I don't know anything about, means like I'm from a medical background, but still I don't know anything about restarting hospital or some setup. I have to learn, because people depend on me to do that. People expect me to deliver that. Yeah, that pressure made me learn for myself, teach for them, and move ahead, plan for them. And at the end, we were successful in starting that hospital. And yeah, right now it's running in profits.
Right.
So
Good.
it's like a learning experience. So all these examples, you can pick any example from your day-to-day life where you can show that ability to guide people properly,
Very true.
understand people, and show them the proper way, and you learn from them.
Very true.
The learning should be both ways, not a single way.
Yeah, especially during COVID times, you had many occasions when you had to rise to the occasion and show your leadership.
It's like almost
essays.
Yeah.
True. So, Praveen, you have interviewed with ISB and 3 European schools. So,
yeah.
And you were accepted into ISB and IE. How were interviews of these two schools different from each other?
One major factor I consider is ISB knows the situations in India, and IE doesn't know the situations in India. So ISB knows the situations in India, because they don't drill into my educational background, or they don't drill into my undergrad, postgrad, or anything, because they have a fair amount of idea about what is happening in India. For IE, everything is new. For somebody who is from a medical background, it is completely different for them. So my European school interviews are always almost generic. It's like they were trying to cover everything. They were trying to understand me as a whole person. It's like they were trying to get a gauze picture of me, rather than focusing on specific goals or specific questions. But in ICE, and the difference is in European schools, majority of them were done by administrative committee members themselves, and it's a single member boards. And coming back to ISB, it is a 3-member panel, and they grilled in and out about the goals. Like they even pointed out a contradiction that I mentioned somewhere in my essays. I mentioned I want to work in, it's like I want to emerge as a leader. I want to emerge as a thing, and I just jumped onto my primary goal as a consultant. Then they asked, "What is the relationship you want to portray?" There is a contradiction in your thought. Then I said that I didn't want to work in a single domain of healthcare. I never mentioned that. I never mentioned that I want to work in a single domain of healthcare. I want to work across various domains of healthcare. That's why I want to choose consultant. It's like I could explain that. Otherwise, like they went through my essays, they went through my profile in and out, and everybody was ready with their questions. And the almost like it went on for 50 minutes, I think 45 to 50 minutes. And at least 30 minutes were centered around the essays, centered around the goals. Yeah, centered around the goals. And yeah, they asked for a clarification regarding my schooling. It's like, how could you do that? How is it even possible to do that?
Yeah.
They were, and that was initial questions. And my first question, if I remember properly, they were trying to judge my anxiety levels. They asked me on a scale of 0 to 10, how anxious you are.
Okay.
I said 2. Just because like I was wearing a coat on that day, they were asking, this is summer and why are you wearing a coat? Why are you wearing a coat? That means you are anxious. I said, no. I thought it will be a it will be a dress code, so I wore it. They said, just remove it, no issues. On a score of 2 to 10, 1 to 10, just rate the anxiety level. I said 2. I'm not at all anxious.
Okay.
Yeah, frankly speaking, I'm anxious at that point of time. But still, I said, I'm not at all anxious. But yeah, once the interview went on, things went very smoothly for me. I could answer confidently. So overall, it went very good.
Good. And how long was IE interview? I know you.
IE was 35 minutes.
35 minutes. So
35 minutes.
This one, ISB was 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Longer interview. So I know in addition to your primary job as a medical officer and another role as a consultant psychiatrist, which you have been doing without being paid, you have also been engaged in many extracurricular activities and voluntary work. So can you tell us something about your voluntary work? I think readers will.
Yeah, I was involved with voluntary work. I have been involved with voluntary work since long. Since my undergraduation days, I have been involved with an NGO which works in disability welfare. And later on, after coming to my job here in Hyderabad, I started working in a rehabilitation center because that is very close to my subject as such, my psychiatry. And then there I started working with adolescents and adult drug addicts, and then moved on to working with old age people. That spread, and recently started working with children, and was invited for to address people with special needs. So like almost every day, almost roughly 3 hours will be gone to those things. It's like almost I work on everyday basis with these NGOs because it gives me a satisfaction as such, and because like something I have to give back to the society, because society has given me something, so I need to pay back. And yeah, there are many underprivileged. If I can help them some way, maybe I'll get that help back in some other form. Who knows?
Right. That's a very noble thought. As I said, your story is really inspiring, not only in terms of your professional achievements, but also in terms of what you are doing for the community. It's really commendable. So finally, being a healthcare professional, what are your thoughts on the turmoil and uncertainty created by this international health crisis, COVID-19?
See, COVID-19 should be a wake-up call for everybody, because not all countries, almost every other country in the world has suffered because of this and is still suffering because of this.
Yeah.
And it showed our lack of preparedness as such to handle a crisis this big, because this is not a new crisis. Every 100 years or somewhere, a pandemic is affecting the globe. So we should have, means like our budgets, our government allocations, our healthcare systems, everything are not prepared for that. And apart from that, I felt really that there was lack of communication in between the healthcare systems itself, because on one hand there was like a healthcare supply chain where you manufacture devices to prepare PPE kits and everything. On the other hand, the service sector, There is a lack of coordination between these two things. Initially, we were scrapping up the PPE kits. We were ration the PPE kits as such. We were given in government. We were given only 5 N95 masks a month. Asked them, and we were asked to rotate. That was the dire situation at some point of time. It was like wearing an N95 mask and sitting throughout the day was like a hell. And we were unprepared completely. We were unprepared to this sort of thing, and it also showed the economic consequences a small disease can cause, and the changes to the healthcare infrastructure a country should bring up, and the changes the world should think. Everything was just brought naked by COVID-19. Frankly speaking, all the ugly truths were brought naked, because no country with any amount of money could survive this. All the developed countries suffered, developing countries suffered.
Right.
No one is an exception. And everywhere, health infrastructure is too much stretched. Too much stretched. That showed the lack of coordination in the healthcare industry as such, because even for vaccines, people are scraping out. They were using diplomacy to, and what you call, using diplomacy as have vaccine diplomacy. They are using vaccine diplomacy to win over people and everything. See, health is something that needs to be placed over everything.
Exactly.
Placed over everything, because if you are not healthy, there is no point in having anything as such.
Very true.
And yeah, it is a very sad year as such. Many people died because of hunger, apart from the COVID crisis itself. So overall, it's like, it showed us the doomsday, but still people are strong, and we came out of this. We still haven't come out of this, but still we are fighting it back. And the war is not yet over.
Yes.
And this is a warning sign that still there are infections which can cripple the entire economies of the world.
Yeah.
Still, healthcare can cripple the entire health of the, it can cripple the entire economies. So economy and healthcare can't be separated.
Very true. How do you think this global health crisis will impact your MBA experience?
Yeah, initially ISB is like I think our campus will start a bit late. We have on the website, it was shown as digital head start module in the first 2 or 3 times. So our campus experience obviously is going to come down, but hopefully we might resume back. We might get back to normal soon. And yeah, when some crisis hits, it is the time you should take it as a challenge and move up rather than bog down.
Yeah. Is it going to be all virtual in the beginning?
Yeah, it seems like that. There was no communication from ISB yet, but in the curriculum, they have given that the first 3 terms or 2 terms will be online. So hopefully, last year it was like 6 months of online and 6 months of
in-person,
offline, in-person campus thing. It means like the campus opened even during the peak of the pandemic, during the lockdown also.
Okay.
So hopefully this time it would be a bit on the lighter side, maybe.
Yeah, let's hope for the best.
So obviously that interactions will be a bit on the lower side, but still I created a healthcare group in the ISP group. And I connected with at least 19 people or 20 people with healthcare background, and was trying to communicate with various people. So I started my work back. Hopefully, maybe it's a new learning experience for me, because I was very weak in networking till this point of time.
See, wherever you will go, you will help people. You will add value. I know that. All right, then. We have had a wonderful conversation. It was really great talking to you. and learning about your experiences, your thoughts, your insights. Is there anything you think I should have asked?
You covered everything, Poonam.
Okay, great. So thank you for taking the time for us. And it was really a great experience working with you, helping you with your application. And I wish you good luck with your ISB experience and a continued success in your career. And stay in touch. I would like to know about your ISB experience.
Sure. Thank you very much, Poonam. Thank you. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.